Hello. Welcome to my channel. Yeah, so I've been wanting to talk about a few different themes, at least in a more focused way. They've been coming through, but it's funny, I haven't been nervous to record in a while, and I was nervous to record this, and I don't know why. So you may hear that in my voice, but I don't even really have a structure or a plan. But before I pushed record, I went into a bit of a intention setting, and I closed my eyes and I just sort of opened the channel, and I did a bit of a excuse me. I mean, I generally do this before I record anyway, but this time, I don't know. I just felt called to speak about it. So yeah, when I tuned in, it was very my voice just had a bubble in it. How do I say this? I'm feeling time was, this happens often, but there's something about time. It's my eyes were closed probably only for a minute, but once I was, I feel I went deep very quickly into the space. Which, like I said, this happens often, but yeah, there was something a little bit different about the energy. And so before I continue to dive into that, I just wanted, but you could be having a similar experience maybe coming up, or maybe you just have been feeling intuitively something just feels a little bit different. I believe tomorrow is, from when I'm recording this, the winter solstice. Yeah. So I hope whatever you're doing on that day, you're able to just sort of take a few moments for yourself, at least, and just cultivate stillness, and however that looks for you. Okay, so a few things. Right now I do have a new member discount code for Patreon, if that's something that you feel called to. You can also just purchase individual posts if you don't want to become a monthly member. But the code to the 50% off for new member is 9D12D, and both D's capital. It was auto-generated from Patreon, so I just left it like that, the code. Yeah. Okay, I hear sirens right now, and I've been seeing 911 a lot. In fact, today I looked at my phone for the first time at 9/11, and as I often say, I always send love when I hear ambulances, etc., fire engines. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Normally 911, is urgent. Something is urgent and it needs to be tended to immediately. But I don't feel an urgency in the energy. So perhaps there's some sort of release happening with a sense of urgency that maybe has been a bit imposed or self-imposed, whether it's ancestrally, collectively, etc. But it feels like this sense of urgency, at least from a place of like, you know, a fear-based sense of urgency, it seems to be like releasing or dissipating. And of course, this is a process. It's not like, but yeah, it's a process, of course. But it feels like wherever you are in that stage of the cycle of release around this, there, you know, each person will be different, but it feels like there's the next layer that is sort of transmuting into a bit more of a flow state. I like that. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so, excuse me. Yeah, because it can feel a bit opposite in terms of like what's going on in the collective. I know there's, you know, lots of things happening, and excuse me. Yeah, the throat area has been really active, let's say, the past few days. And I've continually have been receiving, like, again, I'll set intentions or just open the channel and I'll just be shown certain things. And then it's like, all of a sudden there's just like this, almost like when a bird is flying over the water and then it just like dives down to grab its fish and then go away. I've been feeling that come through with like, in the area of, I guess you can say, relationships, partnerships. It can be romantic, but it doesn't have to be, of course, like depending on your situation, or if you're already in a partnership of some sort, business, romantic, again, take it how it fits for you. There could be like a deepening. It's funny because like my throat just keeps closing up. Like I keep trying to get the words out and I'm like, yeah. And again, I was feeling like really nervous. So just a little bit of a side note, nosedive. I don't know why I'm hearing nosedive. I don't know, maybe this person like gets clumsy around you. Like maybe you noticed, they could be clumsy in general, but I feel like especially around you, if you've met them in person, if not, like the energy could feel clumsy. But yeah, like I'm seeing someone like trip or fall or almost trip and fall or like stuttering over their words. I don't know. There's just like this really nervous energy. And like, yeah, clumsy. I keep hearing clumsy. So, butterflies could be significant. I was seeing a lot of butterfly symbology. I know that's pretty popular right now, but it seems to be a collective energy. Particularly the blue butterflies, orange, yellow, and then black. And there's this, I was listening to a song I haven't heard in a long time yesterday, and it kept coming in my head for a while, so I decided to listen to it. Soar from Christina Aguilera. And it's funny because I didn't learn that song until later, but there could be messages in there for someone. It's basically talking about like spreading your wings and flying. I'm just like cracking up right now because I wish I could like better, I don't know, maybe some of you are feeling this too, because I feel like I'm not even really saying much, but I feel so much. So yeah. Why is this here? Like what wants to be shown? I'm pausing because I am hearing things, but like for some reason I don't want to say any of the words, so that could be an energy in itself. I'm seeing initials A-L, N-O-R. Anyway. And I also was really, like, I talked about this the other day, into watching, like, superhero movies this week. I'm staying somewhere with a TV, and I just felt like watching movies. And I talked about one of them recently. It was Madame Web. So spiders could be significant, and then the web of light I'm hearing, and also Yeah, so I was talking like in one of my last recordings about like a deeper activation in the sacral plexus. And so it sort of feels like this is, at least in a linear time progression, like once that activation has been integrating, there's like this next opportunity, is kind of what I'm hearing, that's coming through in the realm of emotional fulfillment and partnerships. And again, that will be different for everyone. Maybe I'll get more specific in Patreon, but I don't want to be too specific on this for some reason. But we'll see what comes through. And there's a what was the movie? Oh, Wonder Woman was coming through as well. So like I always think about like the Amazonians that they talk about. So like that time period, someone here could feel connected to that. Atlantis. And how like in, you know, the feminine strength is depicted. There's something also about like, I don't know, it's like a double-edged sword. It feels like like the you know, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, but just the need to feel overly strong, perhaps, like, you know, that hyper independent strong energy is like sort of mellowing out into a more balanced homeostasis place, and it's like a softening around that. So it's and of course these are processes that have probably been in motion for quite a long time, but there feels like there's some sort of breakthrough in that energy. So yeah, I just keep hearing like an opportunity is going to be coming quite soon. Let me just see if there's any advice, because my ears just like whoosh, especially my right ear, and now I'm releasing through the throat. I don't know if you can hear it. My right ear just almost feel like it like shot open. I just heard in an earshot. So whatever opportunity this is feels like it will be within an earshot. So whether that's like a conversation, it will be different for everyone, but it will be some sort of opportunity to interact in some way. And it I'm hearing the thing from Snow White. I think it's from Snow White. Whistle while you work. So there's something here about like finding magic in the mundane, and just like another level of acceptance and surrender, and really showing up. It's like really listening, you know, listening to the energy, listening when you have this opportunity. Like, and if you're someone who already feels like you are already very in tune with that, then this is just a confirmation or validation for you. So listening, and then also like expressing from a place again of that more balanced feeling of emotion and expression. Of course, the word authentic is coming up, but I suppose that's obvious. And some of you may already know this person or people. Like, it could be, it depends. Some of you may not, but you've been feeling it energetically. So, yeah. I just saw marigolds, or the color marigold. Maybe the initials in the name. There could be something around that. The meaning of the flower. I'm also hearing mandrake. I think a mandrake is also a flower, but I am not sure. Yeah. They're perennial herbs with large taproots that can grow up to 2 feet in length. Yeah, so whatever this is feels like something has already taken root, at least, energetically, and, these mandrakes grow up to 2 feet in length. So it's like the potential is the highest potential of whatever this emotional fulfillment is. Again, take it how it fits for you, is starting to like expand into its next growth spurt. Cool. Let's see. The colors of the petals can range from yellow-green to bluish-purple. Oh, and they have sweet-smelling fruits that resemble small yellow apples. Okay, well, any of that can be coming through. I just want to see the metaphysical property of mandrake. Mandrake root can be carried as an amulet or in a mojo bag. Wait, this is so crazy because the word mojo has been coming up like a ridiculous amount of times in a short time. And I like do not say the word mojo, but it keeps coming up. So, yeah, I was talking about this in one of the last videos about like getting your mojo back, and I was laughing because I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, so I know I've personally been experiencing this. Like I've been just, I can feel like I'm in a new like energetic cycle, at least like the start of it. I'm seeing a Vesca Pisces, and you can look that up as well, and a Taurus, Taurus. And then I got an email. In geometry, a torus is a surface of revolution generated by revolving a circle in three-dimensional space, one full revolution about an axis that is co-planar with the circle. It almost looks like a multidimensional donut. And the spiritual meaning of a torus holds deep meaning and significance as a symbol of life, spiritual energy, and universal balance. It boasts exceptional properties and a distinctive structure, with notable importance across diverse fields such as spirituality, science, and technology. Yeah, so this is something now going into like the energy field, the Auric key codes that I've been getting like specific words for Auric key codes, and I've been putting them in the description box, but I haven't really mentioned them. And for this transmission, shape-shifting holographic template codes is what came through. So I will dive more into that in a bit. But I'm going to go back to the mandrake because okay. I'm going to read it again. Mandrake root can be carried as an amulet, so amulets can be significant, or in a mojo bag, burned as incense or brewed into potions. Excuse me. The magical attributes of mandrake include rituals related to love, protection, and enhancing psychic abilities, which the Taurus field, that's exactly where I was going. Like, and this morning when I woke up, I did a bit of a meditation intention setting, and it was funny because I was going to get into like a certain position, but my body just wanted to be like flat on my belly, and I was like moving my legs around. So that's what I did, because I kept trying to like move, and it was like my body was just like, no, like lay flat on your stomach. I felt so funny actually, but I did it. So listening to your body obviously has been a theme that I talk about quite often. But there was this idea of, I could feel like those shape-shifting holographic codes that were coming through, this expansion in the auric field. And of course that will show up a little bit differently for everyone, but it sort of feels like this availability. I'm also hearing bioavailability, so that could be for someone, but this availability of the next octave of the highest expanded template or holographic template that each person is ready to receive, plus in addition to like the collective for, you know, the planet itself, multidimensionally speaking, is being like realized, is what I'm hearing. And I will continue on with that. But as for the word mojo, after that kept coming through, Jim Morrison, The Doors are coming through. For me, that's like a very personal thing. Like my dad was obsessed with Jim Morrison and The Doors, but every time I just felt something, the right top of my forehead, like a few, like inches, I guess, or maybe an inch or two above my eyebrow, just like something like pinched there. So that area could be significant for someone. The peripheral third eye areas can be expanding for someone here, or maybe multiple. And it feels like this other nosediving energy that keeps coming through. It feels like that person or people in that group are also going through this. It's like someone's taking off the blinders, so the peripheral is expanding. Like your vision might actually shift a little bit. You might start seeing more bright colors. You might just notice you have an easier time focusing with your vision. There's something about vision and an expansion, or just even like your peripheral. Like maybe someone here is doing eye exercises, or if not, maybe you're being called. I've been trying to implement them more off and on for a while now. Kundalini Yoga does a good job, I feel like. They have videos, all over online if you're not familiar with utilizing eye exercises. So that could be helpful for someone. And maybe if you start doing eye exercises, it will help, is what I'm hearing. Like if you're wanting to improve your vision in some way, or your sight, psychically, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. Eye exercises can be helpful. But back to the mojo. So yeah, Jamar's in the doors. And it's funny, I just realized my nephew was wearing a door shirt yesterday that his bubby got him, my brother-in-law's mom. And there is a song, hold on, Mojo Rising. For some reason I can hear it in my head. Yeah, okay. LA Woman. It's funny because LA has been coming up like nonstop for me. LA, California in general, but especially LA. So that could be specific for someone. The initials LA. If someone has like a father and or like grandfather, just like I'm actually getting not just a masculine energy, but I'm like a anatomical man in spirit in some way. It feels like they're really heavily with you right now. I'm seeing the initial G. You may have like, which of course could be like a grandfather, but or like GG hearing, so great grandfather or in some other initials, but yeah, they feel really heavily around you right now. And I just want to see, I don't know why I just heard like broccoli, cauliflower, like cruciferous vegetables. I don't know why I'm seeing that. And also like the specific, I don't know what they're called, but they are, I'm seeing like apple orchards or apple trees, but there's something about, I'm seeing a turtle, but there's something also about like these type of trees, like they're really short and they, I don't know, or it's like, they're really fluffy. I'm also seeing cotton candy. It looks like if cotton candy was a tree. I know this, I don't know, this is what I'm seeing. Or maybe there's like a drawing or something that you drew when you were a kid, or maybe a kid in your life drew that like, it looks like that type of tree where it's just like a short stump and like a very full bush-like. Anyway, yeah, I'm not getting like a specific message really. It's more just like heavily being around you right now. And I think it's because this idea of this new, I keep saying new, but yeah, like there's some deep pattern that has really been worked through, released. Of course, we're always fine-tuning, and time and healing is nonlinear, but yeah, it feels like this breakthrough energy, like they're really with you right now. And now it's like the ancestral line is like expanding, and I'm feeling like a lot of different ancestors coming through. I'm like stuttering a little bit because the energy is like blah, blah. I'm like really having a hard time speaking. I'm seeing like a sword and a cross. Yeah, birds are really coming through strongly. The song Blackbird from the Beatles, I think. I'm hearing that too. And you were always waiting for this moment to arrive. This is exciting. Okay. I'm just going to thank them for coming through, and if there's anything else they want to bring through throughout the reading. And I'm going to ask that, for each one of you, if you do connect to this portion of the video, that they sort of, if they haven't already, just really make it clear for you that I just felt that they're with you in some way, and not in a way that scares you. I just heard someone say, like, wait. My pointer finger on my left hand, I felt a little tingle. So palmistry could be relevant for someone, but I'm hearing Aquarius as well. But there's something like yeah, that's the air, and the air element is really coming through strongly. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I do have on a subliminal in the background that you might hear. And it just switched actually to a completely different video. So the sound might be different. I didn't choose this one. It says seven chakra, raising your inner frequency, Kundalini vibes, positive soul, awaken the divine within you. Oh, and there's 11,000 likes. So I've been seeing, I think I took a screenshot last night. I had on my screen, it was like 11, 11, 11, 11. There were like 4 or 5 11s in a row. So you may be seeing 11, 11. And for me, that's like, yeah, alignment, but also like awakening, like this next expansion, activation. Of course, Kundalini can be, I didn't mention Kundalini yoga, so Kundalini can be really present right now. I did make a video at some point. I think it was awakening sleeping DNA, so there could be some messages in there for you if you feel so called. Or perhaps you just came from there or something like this. But okay. Back to the Taurus and the expansion energy. There's some... Oh, I keep getting sidetracked. I will get into that. But so when I was looking through my email, again, that word mojo, Blue Emerald Alchemy, I do have an affiliate link with them in my description box. They put out a new product, and it's called Mojo. And I was cracking up because I literally kept seeing the word Mojo, and I was like, of course. I have not tried that. I did just order a new batch of what I like to work with. And they will be making tinctures and probably other things with that in the next month or so. But yeah, so they do a new product called Mojo, and I just thought it was really funny and synchronistic. I do have like a discount code, so if you want to purchase something from them, you can using that code. It's in the description. But yeah, so I just thought that was really funny. Okay, what else is happening? I'm actually gonna look. I took a few notes. Okay, so I kept seeing zeros, 0, 0, 0, zeros, 0 point field, and whenever whenever quantum leaping or quantum shifting, there's many names for this practice, I used to do it more like, how do I say this? Like it used to be something that I intentionally practiced. And now it's sort of like, because of my integration of it, perhaps, like I don't necessarily do the same practices that I used to. It's more now like I can feel when a quantum shift is about to happen. It's more like I'm integrated within the energy. I don't know if anyone else here experiences this, please feel free to share. So it's more like I've set that intention, I suppose, like so deeply that it just sort of clicks in the, if you want to call it like divine timing. And so recently, I was seeing just 000s, and I heard clairaudiently, like, welcome to your new reality. But I always hear, it's like, I feel like it's like a joke. Not that the quantum shifting is a joke, but like a lightheartedness. Like I'll hear it almost as if it's like from, you know, like when you watch those movies and certain movies and there's like a feminine voice that is probably AI, and it's like very, yeah, it's like it's like that, like, and welcome to your new reality. I don't know how to do it, but so I kept hearing that, and I was like, okay, you know, show me some things that are happening with this. Please, can I always ask for confirmation and, you know, vet what I'm feeling and seeing and hearing and experiencing. And then of course right after that, like so many messages kept coming through. I just kept seeing my reality like reflecting back to me, like people talking about quantum shifting, another quantum shift is happening, like it just kept coming through. But I really wanted to talk about it sooner because it's been maybe a few days, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, no, it's been longer than a few days. But it just didn't feel like the right time. So yeah, so you may be someone who's been practicing this, and this is seeing 12:22 on the clock. Oh, did you hear that? Ooh, that was so loud. I was seeing 12:22 a lot recently, actually, so it feels like it's connected to listening to your inner rhythm, your inner timing, and trusting your own timing while these shifts collectively and internally are happening. Again, that like integration of the shape-shifting holographic template. And again, I'm just going to say that a few times, and then I will continue to weave into the depth of it. Yeah, the diamond DNA, double diamond DNA was coming through. Lots of repeating 7s and 8s. So, you know, new abundance codes. When I say new, again, just I'm hearing bioavailability again. That keeps coming through. The vagus nerve, working with the vagus nerve, that has also been coming up a lot. So maybe someone here has been tuning into their vagus nerve. Maybe you're being called to, kind of like the eye exercises. There are lots of free available resources on YouTube if you're not familiar with calming the vagus nerve through sound healing, subliminals. There's also, again, exercises keep coming up, and not necessarily like exercising in a gym, although if that's something you feel called to do, that's great. And yes, physical movement for sure. But there's something about like, yeah, like again, eye movement exercises, vagus nerve exercises. And if anyone here needs help or wants to go deeper with that, feel free to comment, and I can do like mini videos on some of these topics if that's anything somebody would be wanting to hear. I'm actually just going to read a little bit about the vagus nerve. Like I feel my own connection of understanding, but I'd like to read a bit more. The vagal nerve carries signals between your brain, heart, and digestive system. They're a key part of your parasympathetic nervous system. Currently, there are 2 pathways to promote. What is that moving? To promote vagal nerve tone: the non-medical and the medical. The non-medical pathway includes deep breathing, specifically diaphragmatic. Why? I was like, as soon as I tried to say that word, like I felt so splintered. So maybe someone here is like going through something with like the way they read, or maybe you were diagnosed at some point with like a reading disorder. That won't be for everyone, but a reading disorder, you know what I mean? Like a speech pathology. Maybe someone worked with a speech pathologist. I don't know, that's coming through. Or belly breathing, which activates the vagus nerve and promotes relaxation. Yeah, relaxation. I've been really feeling called to work with Blue Lotus again, and I was actually thinking about this before I recorded, about how Blue Lotus can really help induce relaxation. So that could be something you may feel called to. Of course, as I always say, please do your own research and make sure that it's right for you. Interesting. It says nutrients and supplements to support vagus nerve health. Choline is used to produce acetylcholine, the most abundant neurotransmitter in the body. Vitamin B12 to help with absorption, and magnesium plays a role in over 300 bodily functions, naturally relaxes the body, and can help alleviate constipation. Okay. It's funny because I was talking about in my last recording, or the one before, I think it was the last one, like perhaps someone here is experiencing like uncomfortable stomach issues, digestive issues. So yeah, toning, humming, things like this can be really helpful. I actually I've heard a few people say that they naturally will like do things like this, and then they've gotten made fun of, and then they get insecure about it, and they didn't even know why they were doing it. So it's like, sometimes our body knows how to help us, and then our mind or our shame or something gets in the way. So if that's someone, if you've had any of these experiences, or you've thought about this, just continuing to work with trusting yourself, and I know this is not an easy thing, but not allowing, anyone else to get into your head too much. I mean, that's their problem, if they have an issue. And I'm someone who has gone through these things myself. So yeah, I'm not saying it's super easy, but I just wanted to acknowledge that. All right, so back to the quantum shifting, leaping. Oh, interesting. Also, cortisol levels, stress, and again, back to that relaxation keeps coming through. So doing your best right now to, if you can, and if that's something you desire, to continue cultivating that stillness and relaxation. Really, there feels like there's this group of beings who are transcending that survival mode. So if you're attracted to this and you're still here, you're most likely a part of that. And it's like once we can hold that more homeostasis, equilibrium space within us, out of survival mode and into these more expanded states of consciousness, it feels like that is opening the pathway deeper into what I'm going to call the crystalline core of the crystalline heart of the earth, of our own being, of each other, opening up to the crystalline consciousness, etc. It feels like, as I said that, I felt this pathway going deeper into, down from my heart, down my gut, out through my sex organs, my root, and sort of bringing this all together. And it feels like this, I'm hearing the metagalactic core, the opening, the torus expansion, the auric field, really gaining momentum. So I'm going to now dive into Andromeda galaxy. And if that's something that interests you, you can stick around. If not, that's totally okay. I kept seeing the word valor, VALOR, kept coming through. Great courage in the face of danger, especially a battle. So yeah, there's something about lions are also coming through so strongly, the winged lion beings. And a lot of flowers, and the name Iris, again, those IRS, the initials can be significant. iris, the plant. I'm gonna look up the meaning, but I kept seeing that as well. I do have a great aunt, Iris, and I had a really funny, weird interaction with her recently. So maybe someone here is connecting or maybe even feeling the call to connect to, like, I don't know, an elder family member or someone in your life that maybe, an aunt, great aunt, something along that line. A lot of like beings in spirit, or if you have an aunt or a great aunt, or again, someone I'm hearing matriarch in spirit. I know we had like the fathers, the grandfathers come through. Now we have it feels more like an aunt though, honestly. Same thing, just around you. I'm seeing a bow and something about a specific hairstyle, and I just got chills on my legs. So when this feminine female is with you, especially if they're in spirit, you may get like really, really intense chills on your body, especially on the legs, but it will be different for everyone. Some people call them goosebumps. My stepdad calls them douche chills. I don't know. He's the only person I think I've ever heard call them that, but every time I think of them, I crack up. I've heard goose pimples, so however you call them. Maybe you've had like conversations like this before. I don't know. Okay. The meaning of iris is faith and hope. That's so funny because that has been coming through so much lately. Hope. The word hope. I just saw the movie in my head, Hope Floats. I think that's with Sandra Bullock. I don't even remember that movie, but that could be something for someone. This divine connection gave the iris a sacred status, making it a symbol of faith and hope. It came to represent trust in the divine and the hope for better things to come. Even today, the iris often features in religious art, symbolizing the heavenly messages carried by the goddess Iris. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so the goddess could be something that has been coming through for you. Now, of course, that will be different for everyone, and working with these energies can be, like this says, like a sacred experience. So please only take that if it feels good for you. And when I say the goddess, the Sophia, the feminine Christos energy has been really coming through strong. That always comes to me in like a pearlescent sort of crystalline liquid light stream. I don't know why I'm hearing like the goddess, the goddess archetype. So even just working with awakening your own feminine goddess codes, like your own inner sacred status. And it's interesting, this is coming through right around the portal. I didn't mean to say portal. The winter solstice, because this idea of, I mean, I'm in Florida right now and it does not feel like winter, but I have been really this whole week just like sort of hibernating and really feeling like I just needed to be in my own energy, and I've been doing my best to honor that. So yeah, you could really just feel this pull to just sort of hibernate a bit within yourself and cultivate, again, that keeps coming through, cultivating stillness, and really like embodying this goddess archetype is coming through really strongly. Now, if you are a man, it applies as well. You know, it's like this feeling of awakening that feminine receiving flow aspect within the self. So that phrase sacred status is really standing out to me. Okay. I'm just gonna take a second. Okay, so the phrase or the word shapeshifter kept coming through in so many ways. I was having dreams about shapeshifting, and this is not the first time that that's come through. Actually, I watched a show recently that I haven't watched in a long time. I didn't even know it was still on. What We Do in the Shadows. I know it's like such stupid humor, but it just cracks me up. And of course, the episode last night that I watched was about shapeshifting, and I had already written down to talk about shapeshifting. So yeah, it's just been like everywhere. And in my dream, I talked about this like maybe a month ago or something. I had a dream about a shapeshifting dolphin. And I'm trying to remember I definitely had other shapeshifting dreams. They're just not coming to mind at the moment. Anyway, so I was doing a little deep diving, and I found somewhere on the Ascension Glossary, I believe it was, that I often reference how, and I had heard this before, it just for some reason didn't click in my mind. They say beings, I'll say like the consciousness emanating from Andromeda Galaxy, because to me, like these different constellations, these different realms are really just like states of consciousness and integrated and activated and awakened DNA, at least from a more physical perspective. But when we get into, these like light realms, it's a form of creation. So, whether we want to look at it as other aspects of ourselves, for these purposes, I'm taking it as like states of like spiritual evolution, angelic, integrated consciousness. So yeah, let's say the Andromeda Galaxy consciousness emission has a shape-shifting, from my experience and my research anyway, like holographic template. So even though there's still a physicalized, incarnated aspect to this consciousness, it's very transient, is sort of the word I'm feeling. So, of course, the idea of shape-shifting, we know it as like literally changing your shape, right? So if you imagine you live in a world in a holographic template that's expressing through whatever you project out is what you see back. So it could be constantly changing. So you can walk down the street and your environment is changing its shape, not just your physical vessel. So that's kind of what was coming through. Anyway, so I heard this like years ago. And when I tuned into the energy, I felt the same thing. And now I've been realizing for a while, I guess I wasn't ready to completely speak about it, but clouds, for example, for me, when you look at clouds and they're constantly like moving and changing their shape. Now it's to the point where if I look at clouds, it's like I'm seeing in real time the movement of the clouds. So like, yes, everyone can do that, but how do I say this? Like, I watch the specific like shapes that come through the clouds. Like it's like showing me multiple things at once and moving. And if you tune in, you may be able to do the same thing, or maybe you already are, but that's just an example. Or the physical environment is still quite physical. So, but if I look on the overlay of a wall or a counter, I see this like energetic field is the best way I can describe it. And I'm seeing like movement, and whether I'm tuning in for messages or just in general, just observing, like things don't feel as physical anymore in terms of that. I hope I'm describing this. And of course, it can be unique for each one of us. And I'm just giving a few examples. I mean, I could go on about this for days. So, yeah. And I just got very lightheaded. Like, all of a sudden, like, I almost feel like... yeah, so that could be happening for someone, especially if we're, like, going through these next octaves in consciousness. And, maybe we need to ground more. you might be like really hungry, or then you might have days where you're just like not that hungry, like really honoring what your body needs. And there's something about okay, I've been staying in this high-rise building, and like when I get off and on the elevator sometimes, like I feel like I'm on water. Like I get off the elevator and I'm like, whoa, like the building feels like it's moving for like multiple seconds, and then I have to be like, so that sensation could be happening to someone. There are some things that I wrote down I'm going to read, and then I'll see how they weave in to each other. I wrote down the omniverse, omnipresence, tetrahedron, bilocation, trilocation, transconvergence, and light glow expansion. Yeah, glow up energy, definitely. I've been feeling that very strongly. I also came across this article. I actually talked about it in the Patreon overflow that I recorded yesterday or the day before. That would be called, I believe it was the lunar and solar energetic transmission. So yeah, I don't even know how this article popped up on my phone. And it was talking about these, I tried to find it again and I couldn't find it. Like I accidentally X'd it out. But it was earth.com, which I don't even know. I don't remember ever visiting earth.com before. But they were saying there was like this discovery that these like sort of hidden low plasma light pathways in space are being discovered. And of course they're not exactly sure what their use is yet, but it was like they weren't seen before. Now all of a sudden they're being shown. And I did a transmission like a month ago, quantum mirror, I believe I labeled it, something like that. And I was saying how, you know, those of us that are really tuning into these expansions of our consciousness in different ways are starting, you know, a lot of people have been talking about like plasma, liquid light, including myself. Plasma, I'm watching this, I think it's like I don't know, what is that? Something just started really slowly falling down the window that I'm looking out. It almost looked like a really small red leaf, but it really caught my attention because it was just like so elegantly like falling down. It like, I don't know. So maybe someone here, I don't know, you might like catch a leaf or a feather in your hand without even trying. Or maybe that's just happened. Just a confirmation of alignment I'm hearing. But yeah, I love when that happens because you're not like trying, like it just happens. And I don't know, it's just, for me, it's very magical feelings. Maybe there's something, it doesn't have to be that exactly, but there could be something that makes you just really feel magical that either just happened or maybe is about to happen. I'm also hearing the natural world. Okay, so I was speaking of this article and the connection through the quantum mirror transmission. Yeah, so it's like the more, again, that holographic template is coming through, that we expand internally, things start to show up externally. And again, maybe, you know, this is just my perspective and what I'm tuning into for the collective that I'm reading for. So I'm not trying to like speak for everyone, of course, like, but this is just what is coming through. And plasma, it was interesting that it said low plasma light. It feels like, you know, that's like the lower octave realms integrating, getting ready to prepare for these higher octaves of emitting frequency to integrate within our realm, you know. So There was something else. Yeah, so maybe you're working with plasma light, plasma water codes. Sirius has been coming through really strongly. And I remember when I first started connecting with Sirius more consciously, like however many years ago, plasma water and like water codes were like so significant. Like that kept coming through to work with like the water in the body, to work with water. And now it's funny because I have noticed that like higher quality water will show up for me more often because I've been like really seeking that out and like intentioning that. The crystalline layer in the body through, what is this person's name? This is coming through. When you get this, for some reason it always leaves my brain. Myofascial release. The Barnes trained practitioners and myofascial release is coming through. I think his name is James Barnes, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently he like, you may, if anyone knows about this, please feel free to expand on it. But apparently he made this realization or discovery that there's like a fourth crystalline layer in the body, that if you utilize the body through myofascial release in a specific way, essentially like holding down the fascia, the tissue, and like working through, like instead of just constantly massaging, but like holding it down and breaking through the layers, there's like a fourth crystalline layer where the healing release happens and it can like reset the tissue instead of just continuing to like move it around. Yeah, so that's coming up for someone. Okay, I wanted to just read a little bit about Andromeda Galaxy. I've had a lot of personal experiences, and I'm probably going to be introducing, when I say introducing, you may already know about it, but just getting more comfortable like speaking about these things in general. Some of the ways that I've been personally connecting and how I feel like it can be relevant for the collective that is coming through, or the collectives. And they say Andromeda Galaxy, like Earth and our solar system, was actually originally unified with Andromeda Galaxy, and then like a portion broke off, and like, you know, some people say like this portion that broke off, our Milky Way galaxy, like wanted to experience itself at least on like a spiritual or, you know, higher consciousness perspective. But they say there's going to be a remerging like with Andromeda Galaxy again in like, I don't know, is it 4 million years, 4 billion years? I can look it up. Something like that. Sometimes when you're looking from like a linear perspective, it just million, billion, like not right now. And yeah, but when I think about, you know, quantum entanglement and how even though it's physically disconnected, there's still that that entanglement, that connection that lasts even through this physicalized appearing separation. So I think the resurgence of Andromeda consciousness, Andromeda Galaxy consciousness coming back online is like significant metaphorically for, you know, the memories of quantum entanglement coming through science and the quantum aspects of the world. And, you know, I use that word quantum. It might get annoying, but until I have more vernacular, that's sort of what's coming through. Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit from the Ascension Glossary. And I usually do this more on Overflow and Patreon. But I just always like to say when anything I read from, like references, please always utilize like your own discernment and what feels good for you. And just because I read from something, you know, sometimes there are pieces and parts of it that may not fit with me anymore, or maybe it did at one time. You know, we're all, if you're on this path of seeking and evolution, like things, perspectives shift and change. So I do my best to like share my current relationship to it. And even if I don't maybe relate to it or resonate with it, there still might be something there in terms of like why I'm being guided to read it. So I just wanted to, you know, sort of lay that out as a foundation. So if you hear me reading or referencing or suggesting references, etc., that's kind of where I'm coming from. Well, not kind of, that is where I'm coming from. Okay, Andromeda Galaxy. And I will link this in the description box in case you want to do your own deep diving or following along. The ancient galactic portal connected from Giza, oh interesting, once allowed passage through Sirius B and then through the Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda has a galactic core that spirals and connects into our Milky Way galactic core during the ascension cycle. Currently, there is a tremendous amount of activity underway in this area around Giza on the Earth and Andromedan energies. The Giza portal is the heart chakra location of the Earth. I hear so many different perspectives on chakras of the Earth and, you know, things like this, and the Kundalini on the planet. These things are, they can move. They do move. They do. And yeah, so take that, you know, with a grain of salt, of course. It also corresponds to the fourth gate and the fourth dimension. Same thing with dimensions and gates and stargates. Yeah. This portal is also interconnected to the location of the Hall of Records, the Hall of Amenti, etc., that releases the universal memory into the planetary memory banks and the morphogenetic fields. Oh, once the Sphinx, that's funny, I was talking about the Sphinx has been coming up so much lately. Once the Sphinx, Great Pyramid, and Earth core open. This makes the planetary and soul incarnational memory available to humans with a minimum of 4th DNA strand activations. The galactic center and the Andromedan galactic core are intersecting. Another way to say this is that we are finally intersecting with the original core of our creation, the center point of all union. There is an aurora platform that creates passageway between the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy. Okay, so the aurora platform. Last night, I stumbled across a video of the aurora northern lights, the aurora borealis, and they were very pink, and I kept feeling this, I don't know, in the last few recordings I've done at some point, I kept talking about this like electric pink energy coming through, and now I'm just remembering like I saw that through the aurora lights in one of the videos that I stumbled across. And it does feel like, of course, we can associate pink with the heart energy. So yeah, this like crystalline core heart openings, activations that have really been pulsing through seem to be like shining through the auroras, which is so cool, you know, like showing up physically. And they say like the auroras are the like next octave of consciousness, like that light field like piercing through, for those who are tuned in. I have had some experiences with the aurora borealis personally, like that light field coming through, and I've shared about it in other recordings, so I'm probably not going to go deep into that, but if it is something you're interested in, please feel free to let me know. Or maybe you've had your own experiences and you would like to share them. I would love to hear. So the past few years I've been really sort of like, I keep talking about this actually, so maybe someone here is going through this process, but like vetting through, you know, when we open up our channel, I think it's really important to vet and understand sort of how we connect to and through our own channel and what's coming through it. You know, if that's not something you feel, that's totally okay, but that's just the way I process and go through these things. And councils have been coming through, and I've had I've shared different experiences on the channel throughout different videos, but one of the continuing councils that come through are the Andromeda Council, and specifically the Aquaferion race lines that come through. And yeah, if these are just like words to you and you're like, okay, like cool, like what does that mean? I'm going to read a little bit about, it's funny because I was feeling this energy and I didn't intend, unless it really came through, to talk about. And when I heard to Google a specific phrase, and when I clicked on the link, Aquaferion Andromeda, and I did not put Aquaferion in the search, Aquaferion Andromedan Councils literally is the next paragraph heading. So I was like, all right, I'm going to read about it. Now, I've been titling these videos Transmissions because, and I set this intention very deeply before I start recording, that the energetics behind these words, some people call them light encoded words, work with your own hologram, your own fields, your own codes, and assist in whatever it is that you are ready to receive, remember, experience, validate, expand, etc. I just wanted to go into that. Okay, so the Aquaferion races were lines that were a part of the original crystal star human race lines that became extinct in this universal time matrix. And from a chelantic science perspective, there's a 15-dimensional universal time matrix that makes up our specific time matrix. And speaking of quantum leaping, I kept seeing these like clocks. I think I talked about this in another recording, but it's coming through again with Roman numerals on them. So, like alarm clocks, or just like round, generally round, but they don't have to be round, but like the face clocks with Roman numerals. So maybe someone here was seeing those repeating as well, as a confirmation that like time is shifting, like your own personal time matrix as well as the collective time matrix is expanding. I mean, yes, time feels like it is speeding up for sure, but there's also like the way we perceive time is in these aurora race lines that are being remembered, these aurora codes. I did a video on aurora re-encryption, so if you want to go deeper with that, you can look that up, or maybe you just have. But yeah, okay, so became extinct in the universal time matrix after the electric wars. And I often talk about, like, when we mention these idea of wars, you know what, I'm going to table that for a little bit, but I do talk about this more in the Patreon overflow, so if you'd like to go deeper in, there is information on that there. When the Mother Arc was ignited in the Earth core, the inner gates which connect to Andromeda were opened through the crystal core of the Earth. The protectors of the crystal core are of these Christic, Krystic, races called Aquaferians or Aquarilines. Excuse me. The Aquaferian councils from Andromeda started to be able to be in contact with the Indigo race lines approximately early 2008. Then she goes on to say, my first contact with them was spring equinox 2008. And interesting, tomorrow is, or whenever you're seeing this, it's around, not whenever you're seeing this, whenever it is posted, it's around the winter solstice. So it feels like whatever that portal in time of 2008, it's like now there's like another, I suppose you can say, contact that is coming through energetically, astrally, spiritually, however you want to incorporate it now in this present moment. Whenever you find this too. And they were part of the councils helping to hold the Mother Arc principle in the core and help activate the crystal hearts or Sophianic body, which I was just talking about, for the planet. Many of us are genetically related to the Aquaferian races, which have been a direct genetic relationship to Christ or Christic lineages. Which again, I'm taking that as a consciousness, the Christos, the Sophianic Christos, integration of the masculine, feminine, Pleiades, etc. Some of us will undergo genetic rehabilitation through our Aquaferion DNA links. This is links, L-A-N-K-S, but I just saw like the feline, the links, the animal, the links, so there could be a message within that, which connect to the future planet in Andromeda galaxy. For some of us, this is our future ascended Christos body in the next incarnation. Another name for the Andromeda galaxy is the Aquinos galaxy, Aquinios. And then the next paragraph, Andromedan Council, Trimatrix of the Crystal Star, Krystal. I'm actually going to save this, and there's another link that I was guided to read, the Mother Arc Gates. So this talks about like the Ark of the Covenant, Stargates, the Emerald Order, blueprints that run to Christic currents, Ark of the Covenant, base 6 Blu-ray harmonics. Oh, interesting. The 13th pillar, the number 13 has been coming through in so many ways so strongly. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I will go deeper into that in Patreon, but this is for sure just the beginning, and I sort of feel like maybe soon I'll be doing a maybe like a guided astral journey activation through the metagalactic crystalline core that connects through Earth, other planets. They may feel connected through the Andromeda galaxy, and sort of really tuning into the Aurora encryption and like these Aurora timelines that are coming through. The next harmonic universe, etc., that Andromeda galaxy holds these codes for consciousness, remembrance. The Hathors are also really coming through strongly, so you could be tuning into the Hathors. Yeah. It's like there's so much I want to talk about in this topic, but I actually feel like I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, I'd love to hear from you if you have anything to say or ask or to share. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.